Now, so far as the Switch selection of simulation games go, we actually have some pretty decent ones, from the surprisingly addictive Power Wash Simulator and highly underrated House Flipper, to AAA offerings like Mud Runner and Farming Simulator 23. Today, however, we have DEZVOLT Games' attempt to break into the market as they bring us Subway Simulator, Underground Train Ride Station Ultimate Driving Games, a game which comes with an awesomely honest trailer which states it's different from actual gameplay. But how different, you ask? Well, drop a like, subscribe for more Switch reviews and content, and let's find out. So let me start by saying that as soon as you boot up the game, you'll be staring at this blank screen for about 30 seconds before being presented with a completely silent main menu at which none of your controls will actually work. And this is another one of those poorly programmed games where the Pro Controller doesn't work and you have to fuck about attaching and detaching the Joy-Cons before they'll actually register. Once you've gotten past this hurdle though, you have some basic options and a deep pull menu displaying the game's complete selection of 4 trains, which we'll get onto shortly. But then you can select play, which will then take you to the level select menu, again with 4 different options, though Paris is the only playable one to start with. Hopping into the game though, we get another 30-second load screen to sit through before being dropped into the train depot, the starting point of our journey. And you'll notice right away that the eShop trailer wasn't bullshitting you when it said it didn't represent actual gameplay. Anyway, this place is also void of any music or ambient sound, and it's not until we board our train that we get our first taste of the game's generic sound effects. We then run through a brief tutorial with on-screen prompts telling us how to turn our interior lights off and our exterior ones on, and how to start our engines, and then we're off to pick up our first passengers. Now, the UI around the screen is going to occupy 90% of your focus with this one, as firstly, the visuals are a bag of shit and not worth spending the eye time on, and secondly, you have a speed limit to adhere to, indicated by the speed limit sign on the right hand side of the screen. Your own speed is shown in km per hour on the left hand side, and throughout the journey this limit will change. However, maintaining a steady speed requires you to constantly tap the trigger button, and these speed limits change very rapidly at times, giving you very little time to react, which often results in you incurring a fine. 5 fines though, and it's game over, start again. Now across the top of the screen you'll see your route, or at least part of your route, as they couldn't even fucking get this element of it to function correctly, and half of it isn't even sitting on the designated line. But this shows the location of traffic lights where speed changes occur, indicated by diamonds, and subway stops indicated by red M's. As you enter a station though, this is where keeping to the speed limit really matters, as if you go in too fast you'll overshoot the stop sign due to your train's ancient fucking brakes, but if you're on the ball you'll screech to a halt, ready to pick up your eagerly awaiting passengers. This is done by simply pressing the B button to open your doors and then watching for the number of passengers to change on the left hand side. After this you can close your doors and be on your merry way. And you can even change your camera angle to check on the passengers to see just how happy they are to be riding with you. Like this one bloke here who looks absolutely overjoyed, wearing pretty much the same expression that I am whilst playing this. Heading along to your next station though, you'll be speeding up and slowing down to account for corners and ensure you don't accidentally derail the train and kill everyone on board. But if you're lucky, you'll make it to the next station, drop them off and pick up your next load of delighted customers. Though it's worth noting that there's also a mood rating to maintain, and if you edge even a couple of miles an hour over the speed limit or take too long with stopping at stations, this will drop. But so far as I could tell, this serves no purpose whatsoever. Once you've visited your final station though, it's time to head home, and you'll emerge from the underground into the post-apocalyptic wasteland that is Paris, before carefully piloting your train back into the depot. or if you're a complete dickhead like me, you'll be going too fast, won't manage to brake in time, and then glide your way through the rear doors of it, failing the level and having to start it all over again. Now, I'd already had enough of this fucking bullshit at this point and decided to test the game's limits, and so I completely ignored the speed limits and completely skipped the stations and passengers, or should I say skipped the stanchions, and this is where I discovered that 5 fines do indeed result in a fail. I also discovered that skipping a stanchion only results in a single fine, and that hitting the A button activates your horn. And so I gleefully tore through every single stanchion past the bewildered passengers, blasting my horn at them as if to say, "Fuck you, it's my train set, and you better go call a taxi because this subway train ain't stopping for nobody." With 4 fines though and a smile on my face, I successfully completed the second of 4 Paris levels and decided to head back to the main menu to cash in my spoils and perhaps purchase myself a shiny new train. But on opening the depot menu, I found that I had 2,000 credits, but the menu itself didn't respond at all, and I wasn't even able to select the other trains to check the prices, so I've no idea if this feature even works. Disappointed, I headed back into the game to complete the other 2 Paris levels and to see if London, Tokyo or New York had anything different to offer. However, I quickly realised that the previous 2 levels hadn't even registered as being complete, and that if I wanted to see them, I'd have to complete all 4 levels again, back to back, without returning to the main menu. This, my friends, was unfortunately all that I could take, so I quit the game and then came to write this review. So as you can see from the footage and the gameplay, if you happen to be a complete fucking masochist who despises the thought of actually enjoying themselves whilst playing a game and has money to burn, then this is undoubtedly the game for you. It's a monotonous slog through drab tunnels and stops at subway stations filled with zombified passengers and pictures of cats, robots and space dolphins, and if you played Penn and Teller's Desert Bus, this one offers a very similar gameplay experience. If you fancy a finger workout and enjoy the sound of screeching brakes though, you'll no doubt have an absolute ball with it. Now I'll finish off by commenting on the eShop listing for the game because as per usual, it's packed to the eyeballs with utter fucking bullshit. But I'll state for the record that this is not an amazing chance to control an underground train or feel like a real passenger train driver, nor is it a great opportunity to learn how to operate a real passenger train. And it most certainly isn't one of the most amazing railway games. It's a fucking piece of shit, and by far the worst simulator game on the Switch. And contrary to the listed features, there are only 4 trains in the game, you won't develop any skills by completing levels, and from what I could tell there are only 12 levels, not 100. Honestly Nintendo, how do you keep letting these absolute bellends get away with this shit? Anyway, that's about it for this one. I'm done with being a subway driver, but will you be taking up the mantle? I don't recommend it, but let me know down in the comments section below. And as always, if this review saved you some cash, drop a like, subscribe for more Switch reviews and content, and until next time, take care of yourselves and game on.